Check this out, man. We about to go all the way in real quick, yo. We about to have every beef explained. You know what I mean? So, yo, this is gonna be a kind of long one. Yeah, it's gonna be like a good hour and 30. So, yo, it's gonna be a long motherfucker. But yo, I'm just letting y'all know. So get ready, y'all. So shoot, if you get tired and clock out, hey, it is what it is. But yo, if this is something y'all want to tune into, this is every rap beef explained. I have to change the title real quick. All right, but yeah. So, all right, let me get on off into the disclaimer. This is an adult channel where adult things do happen, adult things do go on. You will hear me coughing, you will hear me smoking, you will hear me saying some things that will offend you. Profanity is used extensively. If you are under 18, please get your parents' permission. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Do not take anything in these videos as accurate in real life. Anything in these videos is no slander nor disrespect. All behaviors is expressed in regards to the title. Talk my shit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm talking my shit. So, yo. Now, excuse me. So now, like though, we about to get on off into this something proper like now. Um, we got every rap beef explained all the way down to the nitty gritty. To the nitty gritty, y'all. So y'all, I'm about to just go ahead and just bring that on up for you real quick, like there, like then that there. Hit them with the bat and the bat. And this is how we gonna start it off with Kendrick versus Drake. See all that? We got Kendrick, Nas, Biggie, East versus West, 50 and Jai, NWA, Foxy Brown. This goes all the way down. You know what I mean? So yo, we ready to go all the way down to my best beef, the beef that started me in rapping itself. LL Cool J versus Cool Mo D. Bad motherfucking beef right there, man. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and start this shit, man.
Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. We're kicking this off with the biggest beef in rap right now. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. While things have cooled off musically, the tension is still alive. The two started off on good terms. Drake featured Kendrick on his Take Care album, and Kendrick had Drake on Poetic Justice for his Good Kid Mad City album. Drake even brought Kendrick on his Club Paradise tour as an opening act, but many believe that their relationship shifted after Kendrick's explosive 2013 verse on Big Sean's song Control.
I heard the barbershops being great debates all the time about who's the best MC, Kendrick, Jigga, and Nas, Eminem, Andre.
Kendrick name-dropped several rappers, including Drake, and though Drake did not respond with the diss track like others, he addressed how he felt in an interview.
People still banging it, man. Where is Drake at with Control?
I'm probably like as done as like the rest of the world is with that record. Like I think it came and it went, you know what I mean? And not to discredit it, like it was a good moment, but at the end of the day, it's just like, it was like one of those sort of like fleeting like Twitter frenzies that like, it was cool for what it was, you know, and I'm just into making like, my thing is like, I like lasting power, you know, that's my thing. I want you to still be listening to this album in the summer or, you know, next year, where I want this to stay in your car, stay on your mind. It's like not even about the music, you know what I mean? It wasn't even about like the content of it. It just seemed to be about like, you know, all the and all the talking at the time, and now everybody's like over it. Nobody plays it. It's just like whatever.
But I think that's
This sparked a years-long cold war of subtle disses, but
Subtle disses. Man, he was calling this man a fucking child molester on national TV. Man, he called this man, he spent the whole fucking Super Bowl calling this man a child molester. Come on, man.
between the two. Eventually, things boiled over in 2023 when Drake dropped First Person Shooter with J. Cole.
Is it K Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali.
J. Cole called himself, Drake, and Kendrick the Big Three. Kendrick declined to appear on this track, but responded back in 2024 with his verse on Future's song Like That.
I still got PTSD. The big three. It's just big me. Boom.
This opened up the floodgates. Drake released Push Ups and Taylor Made Freestyle, the latter drawing backlash for its AI use of Tupac and Snoop Dogg's voices. This led to the track eventually being pulled after Tupac's estate threatened to sue. Kendrick responded with Euphoria and 616 and LA. Drake clapped back with Family Matters.
You did it dirty all your life, you tryna make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be day free.
Within 45 minutes, Kendrick strategically responded with Meet the Grams, then delivered the most viral track of the beef, Not Like Us.
Now, and Baka got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop.
Drake ended his run with The Heart Part 6, mimicking Kendrick's The Heart series. That closed the diss track chapter, but not the beef. Since then, there's been all sorts of stuff that has happened. Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl and dissing Drake, Drake suing UMG over Not Like Us, Kendrick hosting a pop-out show, Kendrick selling out 2 shows back-to-back in Toronto and dissing Drake both nights. Drake has also managed to still have success with Nokia being considered as the song of the summer. With the planned release of Drake's next album, I'm sure that there will be some bars about Kendrick. As of the time I'm writing this, Drake just subliminally mentioned Kendrick on his new single, What Did I Miss? With how the battle went down and the lengths that both artists went to, it's hard to see the two ever squashing the beef. Nas versus Jay-Z.
Now, Nas versus Jay-Z. Now, like, though, this was the battle of the rhymers, of the rhymingest rhyme. Now, Nas, he took this hands down because, like, man, when y'all sleeping on Nas, Nas got that fire. Jay-Z, yeah, he got that fire too, but he wasn't fucking with Nas on this one. Nas ate his ass, especially at the end. He had to redo Illmatic like 3 times because it was too vulgar for Jay-Z. He was about to light his ass up. I'm trying to tell you, man. Y'all don't know.
Speaking of squashing beef, we have Jay-Z and Nas. 2 incidents are said to be the reason why their feud started. One of them is that Nas skipped a recording session for the song Bring It On for Jay-Z's 1996 album Reasonable Doubt. This is something that Dame Dash, the former co-CEO of Rockefeller Records, has confirmed. He did not say that this sparked the feud, but did say that Nas and AZ were supposed to be on the song, but they never showed up. The other sad reason is believed to be when Memphis Bleek took offense to Nas's lyric on his song Nostradamus.
You should welcome me back. You want to ball till you fall, I can help you with that. You want beef, I can melt in your hat.
Memphis Bleek believed that the lyrics were about him, with Nas seemingly referencing the hook for his song What You Think of That.
Rocks, we don't speak to cats. I'm a ball till I fall. What you think of that? What you think of that? What you think of that?
Fans also believe that Memphis Bleek was going at Nas on his song Memphis Bleek Is, which is said to be similar to Nas's song Nas Is Like. But Bleek responded to what Nas said on Nostradamus with his song My Mind Right.
Only a few fit in. Your lifestyle's written, so who you supposed to be? Play your position. I used to write to the wall.
There were also earlier issues that have been said to be the cause of the beef between Jay-Z and Nas. Those issues being Nas refusing to redo a hook that Jay used for Dead Presidents, in which he sampled Nas, and both of them competing for the crown of New York after Biggie's death. Nas also hinted at Jay-Z copying his style on his song Last Real Alive. To put it in perspective, by 1999, Jay-Z had become the hotter artist. Though Jay-Z is older than Nas, it was Nas who dropped an album first, with him doing so in 1994 with Illmatic. Jay would not drop his debut album, Reasonable Doubt, until 1996. but Nas was way hotter at this time, with him dropping It Was Written a month later. That topped the Billboard 200, selling 270,000 copies in its first week. By 1999, the roles were reversed. Jay-Z was musically way hotter than Nas after the massive success of his third album, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, and his fourth album, Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter. Nas started off 1999 hot with the release of I Am, but tried to drop 2 albums in 1 year with Nostradamus, and that did not do nearly as well critically or commercially. Things exploded in 2001 when Jay-Z previewed his diss Takeover at Summer Jam. He dissed Nas and Mobb Deep while also bringing Michael Jackson on stage. Nas responded with the Stillmatic freestyle.
I count off when you sample my voice, I rule you. Before you used to rap like the Fooshnickens. Nas designed your blueprint, who you kidding?
Though it was good, it was not enough, as Jay-Z released the full version of Takeover in September of 2001 when he released his album, The Blueprint.
Just garbage. Fell from top 10 to not mention at all. To your bodyguards, Uzi Wally's verse better than yours.
Nas viciously responded with Ether, which he released on Jay-Z's birthday in December of 2001. But the song was officially released on Nas's album Stillmatic. It became a defining diss track in hip-hop.
Fellas, Foxy got you hot cause you kept your face in a puss. What you think you getting girls now cause of your looks?
One of the responses that Jay-Z responded with was Super Ugly. In this track, Jay-Z crossed lines by mentioning having relations with Nas's baby mother and putting condoms on his baby seat. It got so bad that Jay-Z's own mother heard the track and made him apologize.
Mom put in the call. Your mom put in the call. She was tight. She said, Jay, you were out of line. Yeah. So, once again, do you feel like you were out of line? Yeah, I felt like I didn't think, I didn't think about, all, his feelings all calm and his feelings all, even for my mom to hit. You know what I'm saying? It was really like a, let me meet your level of disrespect with this level of disrespect, because the only other way we can do it is really see each other somewhere and really try to hurt each other. You know what I'm saying?
Fans largely declared Ether to be the better diss track, but what we got was not the original version of Ether. The first version was produced by Swizz Beatz, and it's said that this version of the song was noisier and faster. It also contained the infamous Aaliyah Dame Dash plane crash line. When Steve Stoute, Nas's manager at the time, heard the song, he felt that Nas's career would be over if he ever released it, so he wanted him to redo it. So the version of the song that we have today that's produced by Ron Browse is considered to be a lot softer than what it was originally intended to be. With the success of Stillmatic and Nas's momentum at an all-time high after Ether, he was set to headline Summer Jam in 2002.
See, this nigga brought Michael Jackson on here, and then he got murdered with Ether. You see that shit, right? He got MJ up on here, and he got murdered with Ether. So come on, man. Let's keep it real and 100, man. Next.
A year prior, Jay-Z had his big moment, and now it was Nas's turn. This did not go according to plan because Nas planned to pull an insane stunt where, let's just say, he planned to play hangman with a dummy of Jay-Z on stage. After being told that he could not do this, Nas did not perform. But 3 years later, in 2005, the two squashed their beef and remain cool to this day. Another thing that's notable in this feud is that it happened when Nas's mother was sick with breast cancer, so he was dealing with a lot emotionally during this time. Unfortunately, she passed away from breast cancer in 2002. Rest in peace. Biggie versus Tupac. Another case of friends.
Now, this is one of the classics right here. Biggie versus Pac. I ain't gonna do too much speaking through this one. But yeah, though, man, yo, come on, man. It speaks for itself. This set the motherfucker stable for every motherfucking beef track made. Right here. This at the staple.
Turned enemies. Their beef started after Tupac was shot and robbed at Quad Studios in 1994. He was there to record with Lil Sean when he was ambushed in the lobby and shot 5 times, losing $40,000 in jewelry. Though he survived, the trauma left him paranoid, suffering from PTSD and nightmares.
So I got shot. I'm like, yo, what happened? Come see me in jail. Biggie all in the air to my yeah, Parker's my homeboy wound, but not see me. My homeboy Stretch is going to Biggie's concerts. Niggas is like abandoning me. But all in the air and on TV, they like, yeah, Pac, rest, you know, keep the struggle on. I was like, yo, I'm starting to turn into like Slick Rick. Niggas is just gonna act like I'm gonna just be in jail and they gonna give me shout outs and try to take my position. And if you watch, that's what Biggie did. I told him that I trained, he was supposed to be Thug Life. All while he was coming up, I used to let him come on stage with me, he was screaming Thug Life.
At the same time, Tupac was dealing with the Ayanna Jackson case, and just 1 month after the shooting, he was convicted. In February of 1995, he began his sentence, and just weeks later, Biggie released Who Shot Ya, a move that stirred controversy.
Who shot ya? Separate the weak from the opsa. Leap hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. It's on.
Though the song was reportedly recorded before the Quad Studio incident, the timing made it feel like it was a taunt. While in prison, Tupac heard rumors that Biggie was behind the attack, which only deepened his anger. Meanwhile, Biggie's career was exploding on the outside. Tupac was released in October of 1995 on bail in Part 2 Suge Knight, which led to Tupac signing with Death Row Records. He quickly started working on his album All Eyes on Me. This was released in February of 1996. While there's some lines on this album that can be perceived as disses to Biggie, there isn't a full-fledged diss song towards him on the album. That would not come until June of 1996 when Tupac released the cold-blooded diss track Hit 'Em Up.
Now it's all about Versace. You copy my style. 5 shots couldn't drop me. I took it and smelled.
This track was brutal. Tupac claimed that he slept with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans, though that claim has always been disputed, especially by Faith. The diss left Biggie angry and hurt. Despite pressure to respond, he never made an official diss track. But there's belief that Biggie dissed Tupac after his death, especially on the song Long Kiss Goodnight.
Stamina, slugs missed ya. I ain't mad at ya. We ain't mad at ya. Blood rushing, concussions ain't nothing.
According to Lil C's, Biggie's close friend and member of the Junior Mafia, Biggie told his team to not retaliate at all. But tragically, the two never reconciled. Tupac was killed in a drive-by in Las Vegas, Nevada in September of 1996. Though the case has went unsolved for years, many people have speculated Bad Boy's involvement due to their ties to the men who were in the car that shot at Tupac. Just 6 months later, Biggie died in a similar drive-by in Los Angeles, California. People warned him to not go to LA so soon after Tupac died, but he did not listen. There's rumors that Death Row was involved in this, but as of now, both of their cases remain unsolved. There's hope that at least in Tupac's case, that we might see some justice in the near future. East Coast versus West Coast. This is essentially a continuation of the Tupac.
See what I mean? That's how big this shit was. They had to have 2 parts of this shit. Now it's the East versus West. And in all doubt, it was never East versus West. It was never that. It was all of that you see on this hat. It was never motherfucking East versus West, but it is what it is.
Story. While often framed as Coast versus Coast, it was really Death Row Records versus Bad Boy Records, with Tupac and Biggie as the figureheads. One major incident was the 1995 Source Awards, which had several unforgettable moments. The most infamous was when Suge Knight accepted an award for the Above the Rim soundtrack that was put together by Death Row Records. During Suge's speech, he publicly dissed Diddy on stage.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
A month later, Suge's friend and bodyguard Big Jake was gunned down at Jermaine Dupri's birthday party in Atlanta, Georgia. Diddy's former bodyguard Wolf was blamed, though accounts differ on if it was him or not. There's stories of Wolf not being the actual guy who did it, but the guy who actually did it was also affiliated with Bad Boy Records. Either way, this incident only deepened the tension between Suge and Diddy. That same year, things escalated again during the filming of the Dogg Pound's New York, New York video shot in New York City. During the shoot, their trailer was shot up. According to Snoop, they had tried to appear on Funk Flex's show to show love to New York and invite people to the set, but were turned down. Soon after, Biggie reportedly called into Hot 97 telling Brooklyn to stand up, as the music video was shot in Brooklyn. Many believe that Biggie saying this incited the shooting. Though the Dogg Pound said the song was a tribute to New York, the incident changed everything. They later filmed scenes knocking over buildings, which only added to the animosity. Tensions between Coast had actually started earlier in 1991 when Tim Dog released the diss song F Compton in response to a label asking him to imitate NWA.
All you suckers that riff from the West Coast, I'll diss and spray ass like a roach. You think you're cool with your curls and your shades.
This track notably got a response from Snoop Dogg when he dissed Tim Dog on Dr. Dre's song Dre Day.
I'm talking about you and me, toe to toe. Tim M-U-T, your bark was loud, but your bite wasn't vicious.
Fast forward again, and while the media amplified the East Coast West Coast rivalry, it had very real consequences. After Tupac's death in September of 1996, Farrakhan hosted a peace summit. Then, in February of 1997, Snoop Dogg and Diddy appeared on the Steve Harvey Show, urging unity, but just weeks later, Biggie was gunned down in LA. A final peace summit followed Biggie's death, and since then, the East and West Coast have remained at peace. Sadly, it took the loss of two legends to bring it about. 50 Cent versus Ja Rule.
Now, I say Fifth ate the shit out of motherfucking Ja Rule. Fifth ate the shit out of Ja. But Ja couldn't respond like that because, don't get me wrong, he had Murder Inc. Murder Inc, man, Murder Inc wasn't shit to play with. But y'all had to be up on that though.
Is that you, I smell pussy. Is that you, Ja?
It's gon' breed here live 50 who snitched on minutes. The $50 that nickeled and dimed and died like penny.
Get down, I'm back in the game, shawty. The rule and conquer. You sing for hoes and sound like the Cookie Monster.
Your heart ain't cut for the cold of the streets. You're wondering, is it murder that shot me?
50 Cent and Ja Rule have one of the most infamous feuds in hip-hop history. One that spans decades and still has not been resolved. According to 50 Cent, the beef began in 1999 when a friend of his robbed Ja Rule. Later, Ja Rule saw 50 hanging with that same guy. Ja happened to see that 50 Cent was around the man who robbed him, and this led to animosity. From Ja Rule's account, he did in fact get robbed by this man that 50 knew. Only thing is that Ja Rule knew this guy too, and he was cool with this dude. There was some miscommunication with the man believing that Ja Rule slept with his girl while he was in jail. Despite Ja Rule not sleeping with his girl, the man still robbed him. Ja Rule eventually called up Black Just and Supreme McGriff.
See, he called up two OGs from the hood, be like, hey man, you better get your boy.
Two powerful street figures from Queens to help recover his stolen chain. Within 20 minutes, Supreme had the chain back. This incident and Supreme's loyalty to Ja planted the seeds of animosity between 50 and Murder Inc., especially since 50 felt that Supreme, someone from his neighborhood, should have backed him with his music career, not Ja Rule. Any move I decided to make, they were supposed to roll with me because I'm actually from the same effing cloth. I'm an offspring of them. I'm not a relative. I'm not a brother or sister to these dudes. I'm a distant cousin. I'm from down the road. Everything that's effed up about me is from these MFers. Things escalated further when 50 showed up armed at the Murder for Life music video shoot, allegedly prepared to disrupt it, but Supreme spotted him first, stopping any confrontation. From there, 50 took aim musically. He dropped Your Life's on the Line, a clear diss aimed at Ja Rule and Murder Inc. But the situation became...
He's like, well, see, Fifth, let y'all know what you fucking with.
Became far more serious when a track called Ghetto Quran leaked in 2000. The song named several major drug figures from Queens, including Supreme. Many saw this as a major violation of the street code.
I'ma break it down illa. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer. Remember, he used to push the bulletproof BM,
That same year, in May of 2000, 50 was shot 9 times, though no one was ever charged. Many, including law enforcement, believe the leak of Ghetto Quran played a role. After the shooting, 50 was dropped from Columbia.
Yeah, that played a role. You think about it. Right after he dropped the motherfucker, he got shot 9 times because he was talking about every real nigga in the hood. That's what it is.
Records and his debut album, Power of the Dollar, was shelved. On top of that, he was blackballed in the music industry. While Ja Rule was at the peak of his career, 50 had to rebuild from the ground up. While he was recovering, Ja Rule was dropping multi-platinum albums like Rule 336 and Pain is Love. These albums topped the Billboard 200 charts while Ja Rule was one of the biggest rappers in the game. Meanwhile,
Ja Rule was doing his thizzy back then. He was doing his straight thizzy, but he was on the R&B side of it though. He did his thizzy though.
50 Cent turned to the streets, releasing mixtapes independently and building a massive underground buzz. By 2002, that hustle paid off. He signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre through Shady Aftermath, and when Get Rich or Die Tryin' dropped in 2003, everything changed. 50 Cent was now the hottest name in the game, but even before his rise, the beef between him and Ja Rule got extremely physical. One major moment came when a promoter accidentally booked both 50 and Ja Rule to perform at the same club.
See, this is why you don't fuck with promoters. They book 50 and John to perform at the same damn show. Think about it. That's bullshit. That's from them not controlling their back end.
In Atlanta, the two met beforehand at a hotel where tensions flared. Reports say that Ja Rule had a bat in hand and was speaking with animated gestures. 50, suspicious of the movements, swung first. Accounts vary after that. Another incident was the Hit Factory studio brawl, where Ja and his team rushed 50's recording session. The lights were cut and several members of 50's camp, including himself and Tony Yayo, were stabbed after it was believed that someone was reaching for a firearm. A court-issued order of protection followed, leading to rumors of 50 being a snitch. This has been refuted, with it being New York law that an order of protection is issued by the court, so 50 did not ask for this at all. But this is just a synopsis of the origins of Ja Rule and 50 Cent's beef. The beef extended beyond just Ja Rule and 50 Cent. Other Murder Inc. artists got involved, and 50 started targeting rappers who sided with Ja Rule, most notably Fat Joe and Jadakiss, both of whom appeared on Ja Rule's track.
See, that's why Ja Rule decided to motherfucking go off and go on his other rant and rave and shit.
New York. Diss tracks flooded the airways. One of my favorite ones from 50 Cent's side has to be Hail Mary, which features Eminem and Busta Rhymes.
91 and DMX, blow them out. Next time grown folks talking, close your mouth.
Ja Rule's most known response was his song Clap Back.
Snitches lifting in the book kisses. She somehow misses. He gon' meet the mistress. That boy like Birdman Eclipse.
Despite the passing of time, this is one beef that has never fully cooled off. Even in recent years, 50 and Ja Rule have reignited their feud online, taking jabs through interviews and social media. For 50, the beef became part of his origin story. For Ja Rule, it coincided with the decline of his career, fairly or unfairly. Either way, this feud reshaped the careers of both men and remains one of hip-hop's most intense and personal rivalries. Ice Cube versus...
Now, this is a good one right here. Ice Cube versus NWA. We all heard this one like 1,000 times. But here we go.
This NWA. Though this section is titled Ice Cube versus NWA, it also covers Dr. Dre versus Eazy-E, giving you two iconic beefs in one. You're welcome for the extra because this makes it 21 total beefs that I will cover. But as for the story, and things started falling apart when Ice Cube became suspicious of NWA's manager, Jerry Heller, feeling that he was being lied to and underpaid. When he was offered a $75,000 contract, about $191,000 today, Ice Cube refused, believing that it was money that he was already owed. Eazy-E reportedly told Ice Cube that he would not get this money unless he signed, so Ice Cube walked away from the group in late 1989. He originally wanted Dr. Dre to produce his debut solo album, but Eazy-E and Jerry Heller, who both ran Ruthless Records, blocked this. Instead, Ice Cube teamed up with the Bomb Squad, who produced for Public Enemy, and he dropped his debut album, America's Most Wanted, in May of 1990. This album peaked at number 19 on the Billboard 200. As of 1991,
peaked on Billboard number 19 on the Billboard 200. See, that's what I'm saying. This motherfucking man came up and dominated. Domination at its finest.
This album is platinum. At first, Ice Cube did not diss NWA, but in August of 1990, NWA dropped the 100 Miles and Running EP, where they called Ice Cube Benedict Arnold and took several shots at him. In December of that year, Ice Cube fired back on his Kill at Will EP, especially with the track Jackin' for Beats.
And if I jack you and you keep coming, I have you march 100 miles and run.
Then in May of 1991, NWA released their final album and kept the jabs going.
You was fed pussy, protein, and pearl tongue. All I want to know is why y'all let him punk your ass in the group in the first place.
For context, Benedict Arnold was a general during the American Revolutionary War. He's widely considered to be a traitor since he betrayed the Continental Army for the British. So NWA calling Ice Cube this is them basically calling him a traitor for betraying the group by leaving and going solo. But Ice Cube ended things with a nuclear response.
This is what I'm talking about as far as domination. This man delivered fucking domination right here. Straight up domination.
Vaseline off of his Death Certificate album that was released in October of that year.
Hey yo, Drake, stick to producing, calling me on the block. You Benedict, Eazy-E saw your ass and went in it quick.
Ice Cube is a firm believer that this is one of the best diss tracks ever because he took on the remaining 4 members of NWA and their manager Jerry Heller all by himself. No reply ever came as DJ Yella said that there was one planned, but it was never finished. By 1992, NWA had fallen apart and broke up. So now we have Dr. Dre versus Eazy-E. So after leaving...
Damn, this is where it gets kind of curious because he explains how Dre was never Dre. Well, he was Dre, but you know what I mean. Feel me on this.
Eazy-E and Ruthless Records, Dr. Dre went on to be a co-founder of Death Row Records alongside the infamous Suge Knight. Just like Ice Cube, Dr. Dre became frustrated with the business practices of NWA's manager, Jerry Heller. Stories differ on how Dr. Dre got out of his Ruthless Records contract. In the film Straight Outta Compton, it's depicted that Suge Knight intimidated Eazy-E into letting Dr. Dre go, something that many dispute, including Jerry Heller. If a hand was laid on Eazy-E, the consequences would have been immense due to his connections and the love that he had in the streets. Regardless, Eazy-E was very angry about how things went down. He's quoted as saying that Suge Knight tried to destroy his record company. Here's what Dr. Dre had to say about the situation.
Cause Easy said like y'all came with them at bats, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
and
man.
Swinging and all that old thing, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre came that way at Easy, you know what I'm saying? Is that the way you got in the
I don't know what he
song?
talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm innocent.
Word.
Well, Eazy-E got the Eazy-E got the last laugh because he still profited off of Dr. Dre's music thanks to a contract that made him money from anything that Dre produced or performed. That's why in Eazy-E's 1993 diss track, Real MFing G's, he raps that Dr. Dre's Diss Dre Day actually made his payday. It's estimated that Eazy-E made $1.5 million from Dr. Dre's The Chronic album that was released in December 2. It peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200. As of 1993, the album is triple platinum. On the album, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre diss Eazy-E, but the most notable track is Dre Day. It was released as the second single for The Chronic. It peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. It went gold the next year in 1993.
Homies you grew up with don't even respect your ass, so now it's time for the doctor to check your ass, fool.
Eazy was not going to let this slide, and in August of 1993, he released his EP, It's On Dr. Dre, 187 Killer. This EP contained another legendary diss track, which is Real MFing G's.
All of a sudden, Dr. Dre is the G thing, but on his old album covers, he was a she thing.
This would be the peak of their feud, and sadly just 2 years later, Eazy-E passed away in March of 1995. Before his death, he patched things up with Ice Cube, and Dr. Dre reconciled with Ice Cube around the time of Doggy Style in 1993. There were talks of an NWA reunion album, but it never happened due to Eazy-E's sudden passing. While Dr. Dre visited Eazy-E in the hospital, DJ Yella was the only NWA member to attend his funeral. Despite this, Dr. Dre and the remaining members of NWA continue to honor Eazy-E's legacy. Foxy Brown versus Lil Kim.
Now, this beef right here, Foxy Brown versus Lil Kim, man, yo, this was El Nana versus Queen, the real Queen B. I'm trying to tell you, boy, y'all wasn't ready for this one right here, boy. Lil Kim came with it on Foxy. Yeah, don't get me wrong, like the Foxy had her little shit with Jay-Z and the Firm. But, man, Lil Kim came with it, though.
The beef between Lil Kim and Foxy is one of the longest running and most well-known rivalries in hip-hop history, especially among female MCs. Just like a lot of beef, the two started off on friendly terms. Early in their careers, they were seen as the future of women in rap, and the industry was excited about both. Lil Kim dropped her debut album, Hardcore, in November of 1996. Just 1 week later, Foxy Brown released her own debut album, Il Nana. Because of the timing and their similar fashion and lyrical styles, the media quickly began comparing them, often framing Foxy as copying and perpetuating Kim's image and sound. This sparked public speculation of tension, even though Kim initially denied it. In interviews, Kim said that Foxy was her girl and that she loved seeing another female rapper with a similar approach. In February of 1997, the two appeared together on the cover of The Source magazine. During Foxy's interview for the magazine, she referred to her and Kim as the Thelma and Louise of rap. This was actually a name for a planned collab album between the two. Word is that in 1997, the two were offered $500,000 apiece to show up to the Hit Factory and record the project.
Now, see, this is where it got hot. I know about this beef. This is where it got hot. But I'm going to let them tell the story, though.
However, the two never showed up. Fortunately for us, we do have a taste of what this collab album might have sounded like.
Caught him slipping in class. Now I got the drop. We pause for a second, so we dipping in the cat. Know his first thought, shit, I'm hitting that. Sipping Chris Hard, straight tripping in his back. Momentary lapse, so don't be ashamed. Many live niggas fell victim to that.
Despite initially being cool, things between the two quickly soured. According to DJ Clark Kent, who was close to both artists, Foxy is his cousin, and he also worked with Kim. He believed their falling out was more personal than professional, possibly over something small that just got blown out of proportion. Veteran journalist and former editor-in-chief of The Source, Kim Osorio, said that she heard that it was over the album packaging being similar, specifically them wearing the same outfit.
See, there's been plenty of incidents where they done wore the same outfit, but I'm gonna let them say that.
She heard that one had borrowed the outfit from the other, and it led to them not speaking. Regardless of the origin, the tension turned into a full-on rivalry. Both women started taking subliminal and direct shots at each other. The situation reached a very dangerous level in February of 2001 when Kim's entourage got into a confrontation with Capone of Capone and Noriega, a friend of Foxy, outside of Hot 97's offices in New York City. What started as an argument escalated in a shootout involving over 20 shots fired from 5 different weapons. Just a week later, Foxy Brown publicly offered a truce, telling Russell Simmons that she wanted to sit down with Lil' Kim and squash the beef. I really don't know how it started, but Russell Simmons and we got together and I said, Russell, I want to call a truce. I want to have a sit down with Kim. I don't care what it is. Let's just end it. We can even do a collaboration. We're bigger than this. But Lil' Kim never accepted this truce. Some believe that all of this happened because of Foxy's verse on Capone and Noriega's song Bang Bang, which was extremely personal. Foxy called Kim out directly, even referencing Biggie to let him rest in peace, and accused Lil' Kim of clout chasing off of his name. Interestingly, in 2002, things got even messier when Diddy began working with Foxy. Though Kim was never officially signed to Bad Boy, she was heavily affiliated with Diddy and Bad Boy Records. In 2003, Foxy's album Il Na Na 2, The Fever, was reportedly being executive produced by Diddy and a Bad Boy Def Jam joint venture. The album, however, faced numerous delays and was eventually shelved, though it later leaked online. In 2004, things took a legal turn when Lil' Kim was indicted and charged with perjury, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy in relation to the Hot 97 incident. She was convicted in 2005 and sentenced to a year and a day in prison and fined $50,000. Lil' Kim was released in 2006. Despite decades passing and both women becoming icons in their own right, the tension between Lil' Kim and Foxy has never been fully resolved. Their beef stands as a cautionary tale of how media hype, industry politics, and personal misunderstandings can turn a promising friendship into a lifelong rivalry. Young Jeezy vs. Gucci Mane. The beef between Young Jeezy and Gucci Mane began in 2005 over the song Icy.
Now that beef right there, Gucci So Icy, that was a motherfucking thing right there. Like though, they really got into it with each other over some motherfucker really like the really vicious on that one. So icy, man, it was cold, boy. It was cold.
At the time, both artists were preparing to release albums and tensions built over who would claim the track. Gucci dropped his debut album Trap House in May with Icy included. When Young Jeezy released Let's Get It Thug Motivation 101, 2 months later, the song was not included. But before Jeezy ever released his debut studio album, he released the diss track Stay Strapped.
I'm so icy, and you're not icy at all. Your jewelry look like it came out the middle of the mall.
The war was on, and Gucci responded.
He said your jewelry looked like it came out the middle of the mall. Oh my God.
With round one. On the track Stay Strapped, Jeezy not only dissed Gucci, but he also put a $10,000 bounty on Gucci Mane's chain. This sparked real-life consequences.
No, that was a so icy chain that he wanted. He put a bounty on that motherfucker.
Not that long after, several men tried to rob Gucci while he was visiting someone. A scuffle occurred, which led to the death of a man by the name of Pookie Loc, a known affiliate of Jeezy. Gucci turned himself in, claimed self-defense, and was released on a $100,000 bond, the same day that Trap House was released. In 2006, all charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. After the dust cleared, Gucci made the diss track 745. Jeezy would not respond with a diss track until 2009 when he released 2423. Some stuff happened in between, with Gucci Mane making a mixtape with DJ Drama, who previously worked with Young Jeezy on Trap or Die, for example. Later, DJ Drama and Young Jeezy's team got into it, but after 2423, it looked like Jeezy and Gucci finally made up, but this would not be for long because...
Y'all see? Yeah, though, they got back at it again. But yeah, though, they came out with the motherfucking goop. Like, though, what was that one thing they was doing, the verses? Yeah, the verses battle. Where I thought they was going at each other. That was something right there.
Because Gucci dropped a nuke, which is the song Truth.
$10,000 bounty put on my neck. I hope you didn't pay them cause they didn't have no success.
Gucci absolutely went in on Jeezy, and just 2 years later, in 2014, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Gucci ended up serving 2 years and was released in 2016. He looked like a completely different person and was in a much better place mentally than he was going in. In 2020, Gucci and Jeezy shocked fans when they agreed to do a versus, marking their first time on stage together in years. The event drew over 1.8 million live viewers.
I don't think that was Gucci, but it is what it is.
And broke records. While the event started out cool, things heated up when Gucci performed Truth, disrespecting Jeezy's deceased friend Pookie Loc directly to his face, and even saying, "We smoking on that Pookie Loc tonight." Gucci later admitted in an interview that he regretted saying what he did, recognizing how intense the moment was. Interestingly, in 2011, Young Jeezy revealed that the original fallout with Gucci might have been a big misunderstanding. He claimed that Gucci was upset that he did not perform Icy, but Jeezy had recently undergone throat surgery and had not told anyone, not even his own label. Pusha T versus Drake. I know that in the past couple of...
Now we got another Drake beef right here. We started off with Drake. Now we go right back to Drake. Like the Drake is like 50. Always in some shit. But here we go.
Videos, I've said no repeats of the same person, but I feel like it's okay for this video considering that Drake has been in 3 of the biggest rap beefs in history. Yes, there will be another Drake entry in this video, as there will be a couple more repeat guests in this video. But the beef between Drake and Pusha T did not start with them. It was inherited. It goes back to 2002 when the Clips appeared on Birdman's song What Happened to That Boy that was produced by the Neptunes.
That boy. I heard he snitching on a player, man, say it ain't so. Even as a youngin', they consigned me to blow.
According to reports, Birdman never paid the Neptunes, which led to tension because the Clips was signed to their Star Trak label and the Neptunes were their close collaborators. On the other side, Lil Wayne, being signed to Cash Money and being mentored by Birdman, felt the need to defend his camp. As time went on, things shifted from business to image. People noticed Wayne adopting the Clips' and Pharrell's style, wearing Bape and Billionaire Boys clothes.
Damn, wearing Bape clothing and all that shit. That's fucked up.
Clothing. This fueled speculation that the Clips were dissing Wayne on their 2006 track, Mr. Me Too. No Malice denied the song was aimed at Wayne, but the tension was still there. Once No Malice retired from rap and Pharrell started doing his own thing, the focus of the feud shifted. It became Pusha T versus Lil Wayne. These two exchanged disses with one another. Eventually, Drake was brought into this feud due to being under Wayne's Young Money label. Drake and Pusha began exchanging subliminal jabs for years, but things came to a head in 2018. Pusha released the song Infrared, which appeared on his album Daytona.
Winning, the bigger question is how the Russians did it. It was written like Nas, but it came from Quentin.
Drake quickly clapped back with Duppy Freestyle.
Don't push me when I'm in album mode. You're not even top 5 as far as your label talent goes. You send shots, well I gotta challenge those.
When talking about the song, Pusha T said that Drake mentioning his wife is when the gloves were off. And off they were, as Pusha T replied with the legendary diss track, The Story of Adidon.
Real. Love that baby, respect that girl, forget she's a porn star, let her be your world, yeah.
The cover featured Drake in blackface, and the song exposed something no one expected: Drake having a secret child with a former adult actress.
Damn. See, and this helped Kendrick and his little beef and all that bullshit too. Man, yo, see, this goes on.
Pusha accused Drake of hiding his son and planning to debut him through a marketing rollout with Adidas using the name Adidon. At the time, Drake was rumored to be switching from Jordan brand to Adidas, rumors later confirmed by Pharrell. Pusha also mocked Drake's producer LVO 40, referencing his multiple sclerosis, and claimed that 40 was the one who leaked the child info by pillow talking with the woman. Drake later claimed that Kanye was the one who leaked the info about his son, something that both Kanye and Pusha denied. Pusha stood 10 toes down about his claim that 40 was the source. There were rumors that Drake had a second diss ready, but Jay Prince, CEO of Rap-A-Lot Records and mentor to Drake, stepped in and told him not to release it. Jay Prince said the record was too personal and would have ruined careers, not just Pusha's, but Kanye's as well. Drake agreed to hold back and never dropped a response. In 2019, Drake acknowledged that he lost the battle, calling it his first major defeat in a rap beef. Since then, there's been no reconciliation. With the new Clips album probably out as the time that I'm recording this, many are wondering if Pusha will reignite the feud or...
But see, when you get your first rap beef though, that's when your first rap loss, that's when everybody start trying you. I'm talking about, boy, that's when everybody come at you because everybody saw you done lost. Just saying.
At least have some bars about it. MGK versus Eminem. The beef between Eminem and MGK began in 2012 when a 22-year-old Machine Gun Kelly tweeted about Eminem's underage daughter.
Now this one, yo, it ain't even gonna last that long, but this one though, I see why M went off. I would have went off too.
Eminem has a history of going after anyone who mentions his daughter, like Benzino and Ja Rule. This comment did not go unnoticed. Over time, MGK felt blackballed by the industry, claiming that Eminem had banned him from platforms like Shade 45, an uncensored hip-hop channel created by Eminem. In 2017, during a freestyle with the LA Leakers, MGK claimed his favorite rapper had banned him from Shade 45. Things escalated in 2018 when MGK featured on Tech Nine's song No Reason, which Eminem interpreted as a subliminal diss. That same year, Eminem dropped his surprise album Kamikaze, and on the track Not Alike, he fired direct shots at MGK.
Tough demeanor, so he does a feature, decides to team up with Nina. But next time you don't gotta use Tech 9 if you wanna come at me with a submachine gun.
MGK quickly clapped back with his own diss track Rap Devil, where he called out Eminem for being out of touch and insecure.
I think my dad's gone crazy. Yeah, Haley, you right. Dad's always mad, cooped up in the studio, yelling at the mic.
The song gained major traction, going platinum, peaking at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100.
See, he wasn't lying, though. That did hit, though.
And raking up hundreds of millions of views. But just 11 days later, Eminem responded with Kill Shot.
Before you die, let's see who can out Petty Who with your corny lines. Slim your roll, out Kelly, ooh, but I'm 45 and I'm still out selling you.
Eminem's Kill Shot was a viral hit, breaking YouTube records with 38 million views in 24 hours, and it peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's widely seen as a decisive win for Eminem. MGK later said that he had a follow-up diss ready, but backed off after he heard Kill Shot, rating it a 6 out of 10, but ultimately never responded. Fans joke that Eminem ended MGK's rap career, which prompted him to switch genres, a switch that has become a successful move for him ironically. 50 Cent versus The Game. By 2004,
this beef right here was violent. Very fucking violent. These motherfuckers, woo! But yo, let's roll with this one.
The Game was signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment label, but despite his lyrical ability, he was seen as someone who struggled with crafting full songs and hooks. Like many other artists signed to Aftermath over the years, he was at risk of being shelved. That all changed when Jimmy Iovine, co-founder of Interscope Records, and the label team had the idea to place him in G-Unit. At the time, G-Unit had strong representation from the East Coast with 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, and Tony Yayo. And
that means all off of 50's hustle hand.
And from the South with Young Buck, but no one from the West Coast. The Game filled that gap. Though he did not request to join G-Unit, he accepted the role, recognizing that it was a huge opportunity given the group's dominance in the mid-2000s. Because of this strategic move, 50 Cent ended up playing a huge role in shaping the Game's debut album, The Documentary. He featured on the first 3 singles and even gave the Game songs that were originally intended for his own upcoming album. That generosity came at a cost. 50 Cent had to push back his second album, The Massacre, from February to March of 2005. This is because Interscope Records wanted the documentary to have some breathing room. They knew The Massacre would be monstrous and did not want it to overshadow the Game's debut album. But the documentary ended up being a major success, peaking at number 1 and selling over 586,000 copies in its first week, eventually going double platinum. But behind the scenes, things were starting to fall apart.
See, that's when Fifth came out with his game and mopped the floor with him.
In February of 2005, while 50 Cent was doing promo for The Massacre, he went on Power 105.1 and kept it real about his feelings toward the Game.
I recorded 6 records on Game's new album.
Right.
I did West Side Story, How We Do, Hated to Love It, Church for Thugs, Special, and Higher. You see what I'm saying? And he came back recently from overseas and was disrespectful, man. Like the way he's like, it's like he's feeling himself, like because of how well his record is selling.
Mhm.
You know, so I openly, I wouldn't expose what I did for the project, but I wrote those records. I created the concept of those records, and he rapped around it. He's a great rapper. He's not a good songwriter.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
There's a difference.
It's a major difference. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And he says a lot of people's names for shock value. He says things he doesn't mean. He says a lot of things and take it back.
So where does he stand as far as G-Unit is concerned right now?
Across the street or around the corner. He's not in my camp.
Not at all.
No way.
Okay.
Not after being that disrespectful, and at the same time.
So after this, the Game was being interviewed on Hot.
And that's when Game came with that 300 bars and running. Wiping the floor with 50. I'm talking about this nigga dog walk 50. He dog walked him.
97, and a caller called in to the station to ask the Game about how he felt about what 50 Cent said.
I just want to know what's up with Game, what's up with him and 50. 50 talking real greasy, you know?
What exactly? What'd he say?
Somebody asked him where Game still with G-Unit. He said around the block. He said across the street around the block. He said next album he ain't doing nothing for you. You gonna sell like 500,000 copies.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
Wow. What you think about that, man?
Yo, Game, don't hurt this cat. Don't hurt this cat, man. This is a clown, man. I'm from Far Rockaway, Queens, man.
Hey, yo, you know what I'm gonna do, man?
What you gonna do, baby?
I'm gonna be easy and I'm gonna make good music, homie.
That's all,
And you know what else I'm gonna do, big dog?
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna keep it 100% hood and still cross over.
Then later that day, 50 Cent went to Hot 97, and this is where things went all the way left. His interview with Funk Flex was abruptly cut.
Well, yeah.
Enough's enough? It's Hot 97. Funk Flex. We focused.
Nobody. Flex, sorry about that.
Hey, it's okay, fellas. Hey, it's all great.
What had happened was that while 50 Cent was on air with Funk Flex, the Game was listening in. He figured that since they were both in New York, he would pay him a visit. So the Game and his associates pulled up to Hot 97, but they were denied access to the building. An altercation outside led to shots, and the Game's associate, New Jersey Devil, was hit. The incident made headlines, signaling that the feud had turned dangerous. To ease tensions, 50 and the Game called a truce on March 9th, 2005, the anniversary of Biggie's death. They held a joint press conference in Harlem, apologized to each other, and donated to youth charities. But fans could tell that the peace was shaky. The body language and tone did not feel sincere. Sure enough, just months later in June, the Game performed at Summer Jam, dissed G-Unit, threw his G-Unit chain in the crowd, and launched the infamous G-Unit campaign. From here, he began dropping mixtapes like You Know What It Is Volume 3. On the cover, he's wearing a G-Unit shirt while he's holding 50 Cent's head. This mixtape contains the legendary diss track 300 Bars and Runnin'. It's a nearly 15-minute diss track where the Game unleashes 300 bars on 50 Cent and G-Unit.
Now the cops the only homies we got. When it's beef, we eat, we win, baloney, we pop. We sell records, but a G, not.
This beef came...
Man, he murdered his ass on that. Every time they played it, I want to go back and play that song. Every time they play it.
At an awkward time for 50 Cent because he had just released his sophomore album, which was very successful, and he was gearing up to release his movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. So one of the main responses that he gave to the Game at the time was the shots at him in the Piggy Bank video. But the Game was on 50 Cent's neck, dropping Ghost Unit and Stop Snitching, Stop Lying the same year. Stop Snitching, Stop Lying was also a DVD where the Game continued to troll 50 Cent. 50 Cent would not full-on reply to the Game until 2006 when he was done promoting his film. By far the most famous diss track from his side appeared on the G-Unit radio mixtape. It's the song Not Rich, Still Lying.
Didn't you say you woke up out the coma 2001? Well, your brother says you
You never were in a coma. Didn't you say you were in a gang? Well, your brother says you were never in a gang.
The beef took a darker turn in 2007. Tony Yayo and Lodi Mack, an affiliate of G-Unit, assaulted the teenage son of Jimmy Henchman, the game's manager. The 14-year-old boy was wearing a Czar Entertainment shirt, which caught their attention. Yayo was arrested, but later received community service.
Now see, to me, Yayo was the downest dude in motherfucking G-Unit. 450. That's just me.
Lodi Mack had to serve jail time, but not that long after his release, he was found dead. Jimmy Henchman was implicated for his death. In 2018, he was sentenced to life plus 30 years. More violence followed, including the shooting of Tony Yayo's mother's house. These incidents revealed how personal and street level the beef had become, far beyond music. Both artists have continued to take jabs online and in interviews at each other. The beef seems impossible to fully squash. Even if they call another truce, many believe that it would be temporary.
Man, forget the game. I need a right-hand man like Tony Yayo. I'm talking about, man, yo, Tony Yayo, man, that's a true dude, man. Fuck what you heard. I ride with Tony Yayo, man.
Just like in 2005. Lil Kim versus Nicki Minaj. When idols turn...
Now this beef, I really didn't even understand, but it was a battle of the Queen Bee. Who wanted to be Queen Bee? I'll get that.
Turn rivals. This is exactly what happened between Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has never shied away from saying Lil Kim influenced her, but when she dropped her 2008 mixtape Sucker Free, people quickly began comparing the two. The promo poster for the mixtape paid clear tribute to Kim's infamous pose from her 1996 hardcore album. While some fans saw it as a nod to a legend, behind the scenes, it stirred up tension. Nicki's former manager, Deborah Anthony, aka Waka Flocka Flame's mom, claimed that the concept of making Nicki Minaj into a newer version of Lil Kim came from Big Fendi, another one of Nicki Minaj's former managers. This was her manager before Deborah stepped into the picture. Fendi himself has said that he was heavily involved in crafting Nicki's early image, pushing her to embrace a bold, provocative style and sex symbol persona very similar to Lil Kim's branding. As the comparisons grew louder, Nicki tried to show respect. Shout out to Lil Kim. I think she's dope. I love her. I met with her and we had a little talk and I told her, listen, I have nothing against you. If anything I ever said or did came off crazy, it wasn't meant to be that way. Still, Nicki was...
See, she threw her hand out in moment of peace. And she took it as, nigga, this ain't no peace.
Hearing from people behind the scenes, specifically from Foxy Brown, that Kim was not feeling her at all. Around that time, the two actually met backstage at a Lil Wayne concert and took a photo together. The accounts of what exactly happened differ slightly depending on who you ask, but it's clear that any tension had not been fully resolved. You might wonder why Lil Kim was even backstage at a Lil Wayne concert. At the time, Lil Kim had just left Atlantic Records and was in early talks with Cash Money CEO Ronald Slim Williams about potentially partnering with the label. Remember, Nicki Minaj officially signed to Young Money, an imprint under Cash Money, in 2009. Later that year, Lil Kim and Nicki were both featured on Birdman's track Grindin' Making Money.
I grind all day getting money. Damn, it take all day to count the money.
Lil Kim felt slighted when the song was not promoted properly. It did not make the standard edition of Birdman's priceless album, and no music video was ever released. From Lil' Kim's perspective, this was the start of her being pushed aside and the beginning of the end for her potential deal with Cash Money. She even said that after that, no one from the label would answer her calls. Things escalated in 2010 when Ray J appeared on stage with Lil' Kim during a performance. He said that he was tired of seeing Lil' Kim imposters, and while he did not name names, it was clear who he meant. Though Ray J initially denied dissing Nicki, he later told Vlad TV that he spoke out of turn and was responsible for the beef. That same night, Lil' Kim added fuel to the fire. She told the crowd that she loved this certain person but felt disrespected because they had not properly paid homage. She said, "If you don't pay homage, F you." Nicki did not respond directly, but Drake did. On stage with Nicki shortly after, he called Kim
See, Drake, once more. Drake.
irrelevant and said Nicki Minaj is the baddest chick to ever do it. Then came the moment where things turned from tension into full-on war. Lil' Kim dropped Black Friday, a diss track that appeared on her 2011 mixtape of the same name. The cover art featured a headless Nicki Minaj, clearly showing that Lil' Kim was done playing nice.
We all know your last names, what got you your job. Used to put together gimmicks, something like a collage.
She killed her ass on that one. That was like the female ether. But Remy Ma got that title. But man, dawg, yo, she murdered her ass on that one.
Was a response to what Lil' Kim saw as sneak disses on Nicki Minaj's song Roman's Revenge. Nicki never released a full-blown diss track in response, but she did release Stupid Ho in 2012, which many believe was aimed at Lil' Kim. The track peaked at number 59 on the Billboard Hot 100 and has since gone platinum.
You can suck my dick, Nick, if you take this justice. You don't like them disses, give my ass some kisses, yeah, they know what this is.
While the lyrics never named Kim directly, the tone and timing made the target pretty obvious. From there, the beef became a back and forth filled with subliminal shots, shady interviews, and tension in the media. Kim released another diss track, Identity Theft, in 2014, but it did not hit the same way that Black Friday did. Over time, things cooled off. There was no official truce, no public reconciliation, but also no more major public disses. Nicki Minaj has continued to name Lil' Kim as an influence in recent years. What makes this feud so interesting is how blurred the lines are between homage and imitation, respect and competition. Nicki Minaj did give Lil' Kim props multiple times, but it may not have been enough for someone who felt that her legacy was being erased in real time. Meek Mill versus...
No, see? Like I told you, Drake once more. Drake's like fifth. That nigga been in everything. Everything.
This is Drake. The Drake versus Meek Mill beef began in 2015 when Drake did not promote Meek Mill's album Dreams Worth More Than Money. Meek Mill took it personally and accused Drake of using a ghostwriter. He pointed to Drake's line on Rico, "The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge," thinking that it was a shot at him since he was dating Nicki Minaj at the time. Nicki and Drake are label mates and they have history with each other, but they have been adamant that their friendship has been platonic despite some of the things that they've said about each other throughout the years. But this is when Meek learned about Quentin Miller and how Drake might have not came up with this line. Quentin Miller made a reference track for Drake for the song Rico. He also made references for Drake's 2015 mixtape, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late.
Oh, money, new women gotta keep it bouncing.
The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge.
In response, Drake dropped the diss track Charged Up, followed 2 days later by the hard-hitting diss track Back to Back.
World tour. Is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know that you gotta be a thug for.
Meek Mill fired back with the song Wanna Know, but it did not land the same. Drake was crowned the victor in the battle, with some believing that Meek Mill should have won by default due to him exposing Drake for having a ghostwriter. This beef reportedly also stemmed from Drake not attending one of Meek Mill's shows, which added to Meek's resentment. In 2018, the two squashed their beef when Drake brought Meek Mill on stage during his Boston show while he was on tour with the Migos.
See, Drake. Always Drake. Drake.
They later collaborated on Meek Mill's 5 times platinum song, Going Bad. Since then, the two have remained cool. Cannabis versus LL Cool J.
Now, this beef right here was funny as hell. Because Cannabis gave props to LL, but LL, being the stubborn motherfucker he was like, man, fuck you. That was a diss. But yo, that's what it is.
The beef between Cannabis and LL Cool J is one of the most bizarre in rap history, and it all started over a tattoo. Cannabis once asked LL about the microphone tattoo on his arm and mentioned wanting one just like it. LL was not feeling this and told him to get his own idea. Cannabis had already recorded a verse for LL's track 4321 referencing the microphone tattoo.
Redman, where the squad at? Is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that. Who's the god of rap you saying is nice?
LL took offense and asked Cannabis to change his verse.
I'm the illest alive. Watch me prove it. I snatch your crown with your head still attached to it.
So Cannabis obliged, but LL kept his own verse dissing Cannabis on the final version.
Form into a time bomb. You don't want to bar that. You want to idolize. And you don't want to make me mad. You want to socialize.
At the time, the public did not know the backstory or that LL was taking shots.
Wow. See, that's what LL's on, man. LL would take that shot at your ass. He will.
At Cannabis. Cannabis felt played since LL dissed him on the track even after he told him to remove the line about the microphone. There was mounting pressure for Cannabis to go at LL, but after a phone call conversation that you can hear online, he was advised by LL to wait 2 months in order to do a track with him, which would signify that things were all good between the two. This did not go according to plan because once the original version started circulating, people caught on. So Cannabis decided to take the risk and respond to LL with the legendary diss track Second Round KO in 1998.
Percent of your fans wear high heels. From Ice-T to Kumo D to Jay-Z. Now you wanna fuck with me? You must be crazy.
This was a bold move. Cannabis was still a newcomer, while LL was a hip-hop icon on his 7th album with Phenomenon.
Something like a phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon.
Cannabis had yet to release his debut album. LL fired back with The Ripper Strikes Back.
Bob Marley imposters, ask Cannabis. He ain't understanding this, cause 99% of his fans don't exist.
This line will never make me not crack up, especially since LL was dead serious when he said this. LL followed up this song with Rasta Imposter, but it did not hit as hard. Cannabis eventually replied in 2001 with Rip the Jacker, using LL Cool J's I'm Bad instrumental. From here, pretty much the beef between the two fizzled out. Finally, in 2014, the two publicly squashed their beef and even performed 4321 together. While the feud gave us a classic diss in Second Round KO, it arguably hurt Cannabis's career. Still, LL later admitted that Cannabis was one of his toughest opponents, which says a lot considering LL's battle history. Nicki Minaj versus Remy Ma.
Now see, this is back with Nicki versus Remy. Now Remy, she hit her with that ether. She ain't want that fire. Hit him with that sheether. That sheether, woo! Nigga.
The Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma feud is said to date back to 2007 when Nicki Minaj dropped her mixtape Playtime Is Over, featuring the freestyle Dirty Money where she rapped over a Terror Squad beat. Terror Squad being a crew that Remy Ma was a part of. Some bars were believed to be aimed at Remy, referencing her 2004 Fight Club win when she took home a $20,000 cash prize. Remy thought that the line was about her and confronted Nicki at a mixtape release party, though she later said that she understood that it was just rap. When Remy told the story, she was in prison. This is because in 2008, she was sentenced to 8 years in prison for firing and wounding a friend after discovering money was missing from her purse after a night out in Manhattan. While incarcerated, Nicki Minaj publicly supported her. When Remy was released in 2014, she showed love to Nicki, but the peace did not last. Subliminals started flying in songs like Truffle Butter Remix, Ooh Remix, and the Pink Print Freestyle. In 2017, Remy Ma dropped the No Holds Barred diss track Sheether, rapping over Nas's Ether beat with brutal lyrics and a cover art.
Now that motherfucker right there, Sheether, woo, nigga, she killed it.
Of a dismembered Barbie doll.
Run, talking about bringing knives to a fight with guns when the only shots you ever took was in your buns.
Years later, Sheether was brought back in the spotlight amid Remy and Papoose' breakup, especially after Papoose allegedly claimed to have written most of her bars. This reignited questions around ghostwriting, something that Nicki accused him of doing back then. Remy Ma followed up with the song Another One, but this failed to land. This was her attempt at a back-to-back type of record. Nicki responded with bars on her song No Frauds.
Tried to drop another one, you was itching to scrap. You exposed your ghostwriter, and now you wish you was scrap.
Nicki Minaj claimed that this was not a diss track, it was a hit. She also criticized Remy in an Instagram post saying that she needed to drop a hit, called her a peasant, and to stay in her place. This marked the peak of their beef. They continued taking shots, but the feud fizzled out. In 2023, rumors of a truce popped up after Nicki quoted Remy on her IG story, but nothing official ever came of it. Remy Ma later said that it was not just the subliminals, it was the behind-the-scenes moves that she claimed Nicki made to block her from red carpets, awards, and favorable media coverage. Whether they'll ever truly make peace remains to be seen. 50 Cent versus Rick Ross.
Now see, here we go with fifth. Let's go.
According to Rick Ross, the tension began at the 2008 BET Awards when he claimed 50 Cent looked at him the wrong way on the red carpet. But 50 Cent later said that he did not even remember seeing Rick Ross and brushed it off as Ross using him to gain publicity and boost his career. Before things turned hostile, 50 actually congratulated Ross on the success of his Trilla album, but in the same breath, he also warned him to not stand too close to Fat Joe, someone that 50 had beef with due to Fat Joe's association with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. That comment rubbed Ross the wrong way. He took it as 50 coming for someone that he was cool with and decided to respond. That response came in early 2009 when Rick Ross's song Mafia Music was leaked online.
Curtis Jackson, baby mama, ain't asking for a cent. Burn the house down, you gotta buy another.
In the song, he mentions 50 Cent by his real name and takes a not so subtle shot at a 2008 house fire at 50 Cent's Long Island property.
Damn, he took a personal blow at fifth.
The fire was deemed suspicious and it happened amid a bitter legal battle between 50 and the mother of his eldest son. Rick Ross, referencing this real-life issue, crossed the line with 50 and he responded fast with the diss track Officer Ricky.
Around that Drake Bamboza, I do it for the moolah, booyah, bullseye, pop noodles, dippity doo die.
The title mocked Rick Ross's past as a corrections officer, which had been exposed in 2008. Rick Ross initially denied it, but later admitted that he had worked as a CO in Dade County for 18 months starting in 1995. After Officer Ricky, 50 escalated things way beyond music. He released a video called Warning Shot, doubling down on his attacks, but it did not stop there. 50 made it personal in ways hip-hop had never truly seen. He appeared in another video with Rick Ross's baby mother, Tia Kemp, who aired out Rick Ross publicly. She claimed that he rented his jewelry, leased his cars, and was generally fake. Then 50 took her on a shopping spree. filmed the whole thing and put it on YouTube. Straight disrespect. Rick Ross fired back with the song Kiss My Pinky Ring Curly, using the nickname Curly to mock 50 Cent's real name, Curtis. But in return, 50 Cent flipped the name into the now infamous Pimpin' Curly skits. Then 50 Cent went lower. He posted an explicit adult tape on his website featuring another one of Rick Ross's baby mothers with an unidentified man. 50 Cent narrated the tape himself in character as Pimpin' Curly. It was a new level of trolling and it did not go unpunished. The woman in the tape sued 50 Cent for posting it without her consent. He was eventually ordered to pay $5 million in damages, which became part of a larger bankruptcy case that 50 filed a few years later. In turn, 50 sued his own legal team, claiming that they mishandled the case, but Rick Ross did not back down. He released a remix to Mafia music featuring some of 50 Cent's biggest enemies, Fat Joe, The Game, and Ja Rule, all artists who had history with 50 Cent and now found a common target in him. He also released In Cold Blood, where the video...
Now see, now he's aimed at the gang, but it's still 50 and Ross though.
...depicts a mock funeral of 50 Cent. Rick Ross made it clear that the beef was not over. Then 50 Cent brought Tia and Rick Ross's son to Floyd Mayweather's mansion, filmed it, and also posted this online. The pettiness was on a historic level. Since the peak of the feud in 2009-2010, things have never fully cooled off. Over the years, they've continued throwing shots on social media, in interviews, and even in their music. It's safe to say that, again, this is one of those feuds that might never get fully squashed. Eminem versus The Source. In the early 2000s,
now, this is Benzino, but still The Source.
Eminem feuded with The Source magazine after they refused to give him a perfect 5 mic rating. His sophomore album, the Slim Shady LP, got 4 mics, while his third album, the Marshall Mathers LP, only received 2. This angered Eminem and led to multiple disses, including his track, The Sauce.
When the unsigned hype column and The Source was like our only source of light. When the mics used to mean something, the 4 was like you were the 3.5 now. This means you a piece of 4.5 or 5 means you Biggie, Jigga, Nas, or Benzino. I don't even think you realize you playing with motherfuckers live.
The beef shifted to The Source co-owner Benzino, who was also a rapper. This led to the two trading diss tracks.
Ray, the 5 mic giver, the Marshall Maggot Ripper. Better never let me see you with some Jews, I'm gonna strip you.
In 2003, The Source played what would become known as the Racist tapes, old recordings from when Eminem was a teenager. On these recordings, Eminem made racially insensitive remarks. The magazine allegedly bought the tapes for $10,000 and planned to distribute them, but Eminem sued for copyright violations. A court sided with Eminem and ordered The Source to pay his legal fees. Eminem apologized for these tapes, stating that he made it out of anger, stupidity, and frustration after he and his girlfriend, who was African American, broke up. Despite this, the beef continued. In 2004, Eminem released his album Encore, which included more jabs at Benzino. This album also contains the song Like Toy Soldiers, where Eminem said that he was ready to move on from all the drama.
Some receptionist at The Source who answers phone to this desk has an obsession for me and thinks that I'll be his resurrection.
Still, Benzino was not done. He took offense to being called a receptionist and later claimed that he would slap Eminem if they ever met, which they never have. After years of silence, the beef briefly reignited in 2000.
Now, Rap Elvis, this goes to show that Benzino had a ghostwriter. Come on, man. For real.
2024 with new disses from both sides. Benzino has gone back and forth between wanting peace and reigniting the feud. Whether it ever truly ends remains to be seen, but odds are probably not. T.I. versus Lil Flip.
Now this beef right here, I don't know. This was a yet funny but yet curious beef right here. T.I. versus Flip. This is for the king of the South right here.
The T.I. and Lil Flip feud began in 2004 at a Source magazine photo shoot. Before the shoot, producer Nick Fury, who worked with both artists, asked T.I. to feature on the remix of Lil Flip's hit song, Game Over. According to Lil Flip, T.I. did a verse for the remix, but was upset that he did not use it. Then there's stories of the two trying to outflex each other at the photo shoot. But after the photo shoot was done, T.I. was locked up and did not appear after a reshoot. Word got out that T.I. felt slighted, especially since Flip was now the sole Southern rapper featured on the cover. While T.I. was incarcerated, rumors spread that Lil Flip had been calling himself the King of the South and disrespected T.I. to some women at an event. One of those women allegedly had ties to T.I., and the message made its way all the way back to him. Lil Flip denied ever dissing T.I., but the damage was done. Once T.I. got out, he addressed Lil Flip directly on stage at Birthday Bash 2004, mocking Lil Flip's leprechaun image and daring him to come to the stage. According to Lil Flip, his plane got delayed and he did not make it to the venue until right when T.I. got on stage. They cut T.I.'s set early and deterred Lil Flip from going on stage when he finally got there. The real conflict centered around the King of the South title. Lil Flip, from Texas, believed that Scarface deserved the crown. T.I. from Georgia had already claimed it on his 2003 album Trap Music after speaking to the South, who supported him having the title. The issue escalated when T.I. released his Gangsta Grillz mixtape Down with the King, which featured a phone call with Scarface dismissing Lil Flip's local street credibility and seemingly co-signing T.I. as the true king.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be no king of nothing. Feel me? Nigga, you can have that shit.
Gangsta. Tensions ran even deeper when Lil Flip revealed years later that Scarface had once tried to sign him to Def Jam South. Lil Flip did not take this deal because the offer was not right in his words, which may have caused friction behind the scenes. Some suggest that jealousy over Lil Flip's early success contributed to his lack of hometown support during this beef. The feud turned physical when T.I. traveled to Lil Flip's Cloverland neighborhood, attempting to prove that he was not afraid. Reports vary, but most agree that the confrontation ended with T.I. getting punched and a weapon being fired into the air, breaking things up. Eventually, Jay Prince, founder of Rap Aloud Records, stepped in to mediate and they squashed their beef. Although the conflict was over.
See, I told you. Yet curious. Yeah, how you like, what the fuck? That's why I'm like, okay.
Many believe that it hurt Lil Flip's momentum. His popularity noticeably declined afterwards. Flip disagrees, saying the delay in releasing his fourth album had more to do with label drama. The beef, rooted in miscommunication, street rumors, and pride over a title, became one of the South's most talked about rap feuds of the 2000s. Jadakiss versus Beanie Sigel. The Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss beef sparked in the early...
I never knew about this beef. Mr. I never knew about that.
2000s, with several theories about its origin. Some say it stemmed from Jay-Z's issues with DMX. Others point to Jadakiss being removed from R. Kelly's Fiesta remix and being replaced by Jay-Z. Beanie Sigel himself believes that moment, followed by a Jay-Z diss, kicked off tension between Rockefeller and the Lox, eventually narrowing into a personal feud between him and Jadakiss. Though it may have started with industry politics, things got direct and heated quickly. In 2001, Jadakiss performed at Philly's Powerhouse concert and surprised the crowd by cutting the music to spit an acapella diss aimed at Beanie, right in his hometown.
Gun spitting, head in your back, stand over the body, fire again. Send Siegel a wire, I'm riding again.
The crowd reacted by booing, and word reached Beanie, who was in Philly at the time. Beanie Siegel showed up to the venue and was invited on stage by Diddy. Beanie Siegel seized the moment and delivered a savage freestyle diss in return.
Without the pocketbook and the wig, how you talk that pop shit when you roll with Big?
While the beef was gaining traction, it was temporarily sidelined by Jay-Z's full-blown war with Nas. Still the tension with the LOX. According to Jadakiss, he was furious when State Property dissed the LOX on New York's Hot 97 in 2002. He admitted wanting to rush the station with the weapon but was talked down. Styles P also reflected on how serious things got, saying that while their beef with G-Unit stayed on wax, the situation with Beanie Siegel felt personal. So personal that he once considered popping Beanie Siegel with the weapon. Beanie Siegel later said that he never took the battle with Jadakiss personally, and in time, the two squashed their beef. They even collaborated on music later on, and in 2016, there were talks of a joint album, though it never materialized. LL Cool J versus Kool Moe Dee. From
This is what I've been waiting on right here.
LL's perspective, it all started with his song The Doo-Wop off of his 1987 album Bigger and Deffer. In the track, he rapped about being 18 and making more than someone's father, a flex that did not sit right with Kool Moe Dee. Kool Moe Dee, an established MC at the time, felt that LL was being disrespectful and promoting the wrong image. In response, he released his sophomore album, How You Like Me Now, in November of that year. The cover art featured a Jeep crushing a Kango hat, LL's signature look. The title track was also clearly aimed at LL, especially in the third verse where Kool Moe Dee says, "I'm bigger and better, forget about Deffer," a direct jab at LL's album title.
Playing the background, meanwhile, I ain't with that. You can't forget that. You took my style, I'm taking it back.
LL responded with Jack the Ripper, which is a reference to the real-life Jack the Ripper that terrorized London in the 1880s.
Here's what my game is, killing's what my aim is. A washed up rapper needs a washed up. My name is
Kool Moe Dee came right back with Let's Go, and he really let LL have it on this one. LL was not done though. He followed up with To the Break of Dawn. The following diss was the biggest of the battle. It's the classic song Mama Said Knock You Out. Inspired by advice from his grandmother, LL used the track to fire back at critics and his challengers, including Kool Moe Dee, with a powerful performance that became a defining moment in his career. Kool Moe Dee closed out the back and forth with Death Blow, a diss track and music video filled with direct references to Mama Said Knock You Out.
Your breath smells like my jockstrap, C-A-U-F-E, you're riding me, T-O-D-D, Junior Moe Dee.
Over time, the feud cooled off. LL would go on to acknowledge Kool Moe Dee as a pioneer and one of the genre's foundational figures, showing that even in beef, respect can still exist from the culture's early architects. And just like that, 21 of the biggest beefs in rap history. I can't wait to see the comments of, oh, you missed such and such, and you missed this one, and I did not. I wanted to start off with 21, and if I saw the interest, I would be down to make a part 2.
So that was that, y'all. 21 of the biggest beefs in rap history. I'm trying to tell you, man, they didn't go all the way in depth on a lot of beefs, like they just told you about, like, this was that and that happened, this was that and that happened, this was that and that happened. But they didn't go all the way in depth on it. But it's cool. It's cool, though. I can dig it. But, yo, I kind of like this one, but they need to go a little bit more in depth on this one. You know what I mean? They need to go a little bit more in depth on the beefs. A little bit more in depth. That's all I had. A little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah, like you gave us the topics. You gave us the brief, the borderline of it, but you didn't give us the beef itself. But it's cool. It's all good. But anyways, though, I'm out of here. Rude dog.